Hi, I'm Aaron Marcus.
And I'm Cindy O'Farrell.
And we are here for the top of the morning at the World Trade Center in downtown Baltimore. We have a special guest. It is
Jason Sullivan
and he's
from
got
Fells Point.
Fells Point. He's got an amazing event coming up that you really need to learn about. Rebecca, I'm planning on going down there.
Yeah, and I didn't know this guy. He's very, very familiar with Fells Point homicide. Wow.
Yeah, well, lots of homicides
But
involved.
yeah, you guys won't know
That-
until you come back. So do not touch that dial. You better come back and get all of the information. We'll see you in just a moment.
Actually, the homicide was really cool. Did you share?
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, we plunder, we rifle and loot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We extort, we pilfer, we filch and sack. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Maraud and embezzle and even hijack. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
And it's wonderful living the life of a pirate with the freedom to take what we can. And we'll sail the world over, searching for plunder, not fearing to face any man, not fearing to face any man.
Welcome back. We are here with Jason Sullivan from Fells Point Main Street, and we are talking about an amazing event that you are involved with. What is this all about?
Coming up in just about a month is our 6th annual Privateer Day, and it's actually grown into much more, almost a weekend type event.
What is Privateer Day? What is that?
Privateer Day, we started in 2005, and it was to promote a lot of the cultural and heritage aspects of Fells Point, being the oldest neighborhood in Baltimore City. It's where the clipper ships were built back in the 1700s, and those ships were instrumental eventually in breaking the British blockade on Fort McHenry and turning the tide in the War of 1812. So it started out with that, and it combined with another event that was called the Fells Point Pirate Invasion, which was a nighttime pub crawl, and they were on different days, and then they kind of joined forces, and it became a one-day event. And now this year we're really excited to have our 2nd annual Swashbuckler Soiree, which is a pirates ball, and it'll be at the Frederick Douglass Museum on April 9th, and there'll be live music, there'll be a taste of Fells Point restaurants, rum and wine specials, and we're very excited to be bringing in 2 actors from Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Vince Lozano and Trevor Etienne, so they'll be in all weekend for all our events.
And Jason, so what's the difference between the privateer and the pirates?
Yes,
What's
that
the
is something we
difference?
really want to push this year. Privateers were basically had a letter of marque from the government, or usually the governor, which was basically sanctioned them to allow them to go out and pillage pirate ships, take the booty, and they would just give a percentage back to the government. And the reason we did this back in the late 1700s, early 1800s, is being a new country, we didn't have a very large navy. So we relied on these privateers, basically.
So it's sort of like a bounty hunter in a sense?
But they were sanctioned, but they were sanctioned by the government to be able to do that.
Oh, wow.
And it's
So I'm curious, so at that time period, who was actually living in Fells Point?
Well, it was founded in the about 1763 by Edward Fell and his family, and they partitioned it off eventually into different lots, and then it grew from there. But basically, it was a shipbuilding community for the latter part of the late 1700s, early 1800s.
And you had mentioned that the clipper ships were built. Was that primarily the only ships that were built there, and was that only for military purposes, or what?
And I'm sorry, what is a clipper ship? I'm sorry, I need to know.
Like the Pride of Baltimore.
Okay.
The original Pride of Baltimore. Those type of ships were what were built there. They were sailing vessels, but not necessarily military, because these were private sailing vessels, merchant ships that would go to Europe and bring back trade and commerce to and from Europe.
But they did use them, you were saying, during the Battle of 1812.
Well, during that time period, because we, as a nation, we were only about 35 years old, so we didn't have a very large navy. So it really helped to have that private. I guess they were sort of like the Halliburton of their day.
And were they only in this area, or were they all across sort of?
They traveled all the way to Europe. I think there was a story that I had heard that one of the privateer ships traveled all the way to England and posted a notice on the door of a high-ranking British official. One of the most exciting aspects of Privateer Day is toward the end of the afternoon we'll have a recreation of an attack on a pirate vessel, and complete with cannons and gunshots. And it's the Pride of Baltimore too, and we're very excited to be bringing up the HMS Bounty from Florida, as well as the schooner Farewell. And the Bounty will be the private ship, and the other two vessels will attack them.
Why don't we go take a look and see one of the clips?
She has been captured, and she now becomes a prize of war. She will go to a U.S. Admiralty court. Her goods will be auctioned off.
Hey, do you think Governor O'Malley can get part of the funds from the little fight that's going on here when we're raiding the pirate ship? Do you think that's still a possibility?
We can see, yeah, maybe that'll incentivize O'Malley's March to come and play. We'd love to have them play during Privateer Day. We think they'd be a really good fit.
So for Privateer Day, this is also a way of helping out the business communities in Fells Point. And
Yes, without a doubt. We have numerous vendors on Broadway Square, local merchants that have an extra opportunity to get out to a new public and a new audience. And we've heard great responses over the previous years of not only in the square, but the vendors in their stores that they do very well at week.
yeah, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but the TV show Homicide was filmed in Fells Point, or at least the police headquarters was based in Fells Point. Do you have any involvement with the building, or?
Yeah, a lot of tourists actually come down, and it's a big attraction for people taking photos. There's a plaque outside. It actually says Baltimore Police Department on the outside of the building, although it was never used as a police department. But I'm glad you asked that question, because we're very excited to just find out a couple of days ago. We back in the fall, we had nominated the Recreation Pier to be placed on the list of Maryland's most endangered places by Preservation Maryland. And we just got word late last week that it is on the 2010 list of 11 locations in Maryland that are listed as one of Maryland's most endangered places.
And what exactly does that mean?
Right, it's more of an informal designation. Well, actually, we just also got word within late last week that the sale of Recreation Pier has gone through to developer Joe Clark, who is planning on building a boutique hotel there. So the designation will not affect the development of the pier. It's more of an informal designation to raise. We did it to raise awareness of the Recreation Pier, especially in the period of stagnancy, where there was nothing happening for about 5 years on the sale and the movement to develop the pier. So there's a lot of concern that it's actually falling into disrepair and falling into the harbor. So we're very excited to help raise awareness about the importance of the pier. I've heard numerous stories of people who have used to go there when it was a recreation center, 30, 40 years ago. And it's got a long history even before that, obviously, going back to the early 20th century. But we like to think that by raising awareness of it, we can also promote tourist visitors to come to Fells Point to see it.
For Privateer Day, can people actually bring their boats? And
Yes, we encourage people to bring boats. We have limited space because we're very excited. We have the HMS Bounty, which is coming up from Florida. That was built for the 1962 version of Mutiny on the Bounty with Marlon Brando. And that's coming up. We've got the Pride of Baltimore. We've got the Lady Maryland, which is from Living Classrooms. So anybody who's feel free to contact me. But the one thing I want to let people know: no weapons. No, I'm serious. Well, we actually have. We've actually had.
Some historians bring in historians.
We have people that want to bring weapons, whether it's like old guns or swords and things like that. So we have to have signs all over that day saying no weapons allowed.
So come, no guns. We will be right back. See you soon.
I'm here for rocking and rolling and quiet riot and all the 80s bands that got left behind.
Baltimore had always been known for its unruly behavior. A tradition that I like to think we kept alive in Fells Point.
You don't expect some white college kid to beat the shit out of you because you asked him not to pee on your house.
Okay, you know, it may not be like it was 50 years ago, but life isn't like it was 50 years ago.
Fells Point is an area. Some call it a neighborhood. I call it a state of mind. We've got a mile of waterfront out here. Actually about a mile and a half. That is perhaps historically some of the most significant waterfront in North America in terms of the things that have been done here, the things that have been caused by the things that have been done here.
The British saw Fells Point as such a threat that they wanted to destroy Fells Point more than any other place in the country. South Baltimore just shook like one big earthquake for a couple hours. Plus it was a terrible thunderstorm, so you had lightning, thunder, and booms. Next morning, they found out that the forts had held and the British were in retreat.
Probably one of the most distinguished citizens to come out of Fells Point was a young man by the name of Fred Bailey.
My great-great-grandfather lived here and escaped from here, September 3rd, 1838.
The contractors were furious with Agnew because he was so dumb. He had no idea what he had done. He didn't know that he had put us on the National Register for a community that's blocking his highway that he wanted to build.
It's going to be an elevated road right where the aquarium is. 83, 70, and 95 are going to meet in the world's largest cloverleaf and then head up, blasting through the Fells Point and Canton waterfront.
There was a time when every developer that wandered into town with an expensive suit was promised a piece of Fells Point by the city administration. They never met a developer they didn't like.
Fells Point, I think, could very well secede from the city and be happy.
We're back with Jason Sullivan, who is Executive Director of Fells Point Main Street.
And Jason, for those of us who are not familiar with this area, how far is Fells Point from the top of the world where we're filming?
Right, we are exactly 1 mile from the inner harbor, and like I like to tell people, we're a 5-minute taxi ride, a 10-minute water taxi ride, or a 15-minute walk from downtown Baltimore.
Oh, wow. And another note is referring to Privateer Day. How can actors participate in the reenacting, especially the historical ones?
Right. We do get, the event has grown, we've got a lot of people who have approached us to ask about participating. You can contact us through our website, which is www.fellspointmainstreet.org.
Okay.
And this year, I'm really happy to say that our Living History Camp, which is in the grassy area over where Duclaws is, has grown immensely. And it's organized by the crew of the Vigilant, which is a group out of Southern Maryland. And it's just a fantastic reenactment camp. Shows how people lived, and privateers lived in the early 1800s. There'll be cannon and weapons demonstrations, children's activities, and all sorts of.
And is that year round?
No, that's just for the weekend.
We love you all!
That was incredible.
Wow.
Hey, so tell us more about the camp.
It's amazing. It's grown immensely over. This will be the third year, and it's held in the grassy area over by DeClaws.
During Privateer Day?
Yes, they set up Friday night and take down Sunday morning because there's tents and there's sleeping quarters, eating quarters, and there's cannons and weapons demonstrations, children's activities. You can see how privateers lived and ate and had their daily life. And these people are really serious about
24 hours a day. Are they in character?
Yes, when they're in the camp, yes, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. These are people that go around to different events, and that's
So
what
it's like
they
the
do.
Civil War reenactments, except it's
yes, except for it's actually pre-Civil War. It's probably 50 years earlier, but it's a very
same
similar
concept. People are wearing
Yes.
the right wardrobe. And
Yeah, and it's been a great addition to the event as we want to continue to educate people, especially the difference between the privateers and the pirates. We love them both. My goal is to grow the event and have them coexist.
Are there any fees?
Privateer Day is free. It's free all day Saturday. The soiree on Friday night is $40 in advance.
And
It's a
sorry
fun-
for the
fun-
interruption. You know, we are on top of the world, and they are running. It's a public venue, so you may hear little kids running around here.
Bring them down. There's a lot of kids' activities for Privateer Day.
Sign them up right now.
But so Friday night event is $40, and Saturday all day is free.
And I'm assuming that a lot of the business owners will have things made available out on the streets for people to sample, or
Yes, there'll be a lot of local merchants will have booths on the square, or be actually Saturday night we'll have a Pirate Invasion pub crawl. So some restaurants and about a dozen pubs and restaurants will be offering discounted drinks and food specials.
and
tied
there are
into
water
it.
taxis down there as well. Would that be
Yes,
running on weekends
would
as
definitely
well?
be running that whole weekend. It's usually a very popular way to get down to Fells Point for Privateer Day. But I would also like to mention, good segue, a big secret that people don't know about is parking in Fells Point. You can park at the PMS Garage, 805 South Caroline Street, and it's $3 all day,
Wow.
every Saturday and every Sunday, and the rates will not increase for Privateer Day. So where can you park for $3?
I wish I knew that beforehand.
Well, we're going to go to a break right now, and we have been talking with Jason Sullivan, and we will be back real soon.
You've got nothing to lose. Won't you let me take you on a sea cruise? Ooh-wee, baby.
Captain Larry is on the bridge, ready to begin your harbor cruise.
That's fine, sir.
Your tour begins in Baltimore's historic harbor, a short puddle jump from the Maryland Science Center. As we sail out of the harbor and throughout the cruise, you'll learn little-known facts, like did you know we're not in the Chesapeake Bay? We're sailing along the Patapsco River. From our starboard side, that's the right side for you land lovers, we'll see Federal Hill, where the federal Constitution was ratified and where modern-day revolutionaries like to party all night. The really hip museum on the right is called the American Visionary Arts Museum. To display work here, you have to have raw talent, no formal training allowed. Around the bend is the old Bethlehem Steel Shipyard, which built Liberty ships during World War II. The Harbor View condos are built where the shipyard used to be. The Baltimore Museum of Industry highlights Charm City's contributions to our nation's workforce. Check out Baltimore's first fire tug, which celebrates its 100th birthday in 2006. Got a sweet tooth? And you'll love hearing about the Domino Sugar Plant. We'll sail beside a true war hero, the naval ship Comfort, which is just back from treating wounded soldiers in Iraq. We'll say, can you see, Fort McHenry? This is the birthplace of the Star-Spangled Banner. At the Francis Scott Key Bridge, the captain turns around, and there's much more to see.